How about it? Anybody in here want to be free? Well, stand up and sing about it then. Here we go. Freedom. We're talking about freedom. Freedom. We're singing about freedom. Freedom. We're talking about freedom. Freedom. We're singing about freedom. I've lived my life for many years from a place of doubt and fear. Then I remembered who sent me here, and I embrace my freedom. Freedom. We're talking about freedom. Freedom. We're singing about freedom. Freedom. We're talking about freedom. Freedom. We're singing about freedom. I've made some mistakes. I've acted a fool, trying to live by others' rules. Got my own bag of tricks, my own kind of cool, living out my freedom. Freedom. We're talking about freedom. Freedom. We're singing about freedom. Freedom. We're talking about freedom. Freedom. We're singing about freedom. Don't ever be what you're not meant to be. Open your eyes to what you're meant to see. Don't give up your dignity. Walk your path of freedom. Freedom. We're talking about freedom. Freedom. We're singing about freedom. Freedom. We're talking about freedom. Freedom. We're singing about freedom. If we want respect, that's what we have to give. If we want love, that's what we have to live. If we want forgiveness, then we have to forgive. Then we'll know real freedom. Freedom. We're talking about freedom. Freedom. We're singing about freedom. Freedom. We're talking about freedom. Freedom. We're singing about freedom. Freedom. Lord have mercy. Do you know what happened to me when I found out I was actually free? I lost a certain level of self-consciousness. You know what I'm talking about? The way we imprison ourselves. Because about 10 years ago, I would have stood here and sung, freedom, we're talking about freedom. But now we can dance to it, right? Because we know that we know that we know that we're free. Isn't that I got one amen over here. I'm working it up here, and y'all are just looking at me. All right. Good morning and welcome to Unity of Music City. This is a place of authentic transformation. We transform by engaging in this spiritual process with each other as a community, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I got a few quick announcements for you here. First off, guess what? It is already back to school time. I know that breaks my heart just a little bit, but I got to tell you, here's what we're doing. We're doing our backpacks again this year. This is with the Dodson Chapel Back to School Drive. So here's what we're asking people to do is fill up one of these backpacks for a kid going back to school. Here's how you do. This is just an example. Don't fill this one. Go buy one of your own. There are in the lobby these little pink slips right here. Pardon me? Sherry has them. She is holding them hostage until you come and talk to her about that. Sherry has these little pink slips right here which will tell you the list of things to put in it. Things like crayons and glue sticks and pencils and stuff. All that kinds of whatnot. So talk to Sherry afterwards. You'll be in the lobby, I assume, Sherry, so folks can pick those up. We need those back here by July 28th because school starts back on like August 5th. When did that happen? Back when I was a kid. Yeah. We got time to get the harvest in before we went back to school. Anyway, so July 28th, that's like 2 Sundays from now or something like that. So we need to jump right on this, pick up one of those slips from Sherry, and fill a backpack. This Wednesday, July 17th at 7 p.m., a mediumship and intuitive development circle with Susie Wright, 7 p.m. this Wednesday. So those of you who are participants on the Book of Facebook, may know that Reverend D and Dr. J bought a boat this week. And they could give me no better segue into shooting it over there to Judy so she can talk about the wave of abundance. Judy, talk.
Yes, and I believe riding that wave of abundance wherever I am, especially with people that I love that I'm talking to right now. So we have 3 more Sundays to complete this campaign. Our tree of abundance is out there in the foyer or the narthex or the lobby or whatever Unitics call that middle portion where you come in the door. And we are up now to $3,760. So yay you, and please consider giving some more to that.
I believe Unitics call that the lounge. Yeah. Don't forget to tip your servers. Okay, Dave, I don't know if you can hear that back there, but we do have a little buzz happening up here. I just thought I'd let you know about that, if there's anything you can do about it. Thursdays through July 25th, just a couple more Thursdays, we have Kids Summer Fun happening. It's actually louder now, Dave. Okay, all right, good. Thank you. Kids Summer Fun, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. This week is yoga with Becky Astorita. Next week is water fun. That sounds exciting, doesn't it? Last week, I believe they did karaoke. How'd they do, Becky?
It was awesome.
Awesome. I am so glad.
We heard Let It Go like 12 times.
Let it go. Which, it usually takes at least that many to let it go. So, all right. I'll tell you what, we're going to sing again, but we're going to do something a little bit different this time. I'm going to divide the audience in half. And so, going right about down the middle, all these people over here are with me and Nikki. And all the people over here with the rest of the crew up there, if you're right in the middle, you can swing whichever way you'd like. All right? So I'll tell you what, first 2 times through, we're going to sing it all together. The second 2 times through, this side's going to start, that side's going to echo. You'll pick up on it. I'll show you. All together now.
I'm at the right place at the right time with the right people to receive my good. I'm at the right place at the right time with the right people to receive my good.
Let's just do that again.
I'm at the right place at the right time with the right people to receive my good. I'm at the right place at the right time with the right people to receive my good.
All right, this side's going to start.
I'm at the right place.
I'm at the right place.
At the right time.
At the
to receive my good. I'm at the right place. I'm at the right place. At the right time. At the right time. With the right people. With the right people to receive my good. To receive my good. To receive my good.
Y'all did a great job. I just thought I would tell you that because I don't think you get enough positive feedback in your life. You did a really great job. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. A couple more quick announcements. Not next Sunday, 2 Sundays from now, Sunday, July 28th. Terry Pugh will be here in the afternoon from 2 to 4 doing a Grief Speaks workshop. There's a flyer posted on the bulletin board with more information about that. And as a quick reminder, we don't have lunch bunch or Wednesday evening class through the month of July, but starting up in August, we've got some great things happening. Those folks who meet at 11:30 on Wednesdays for lunch bunch will be looking at Marianne Williamson's A Gift of Change. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the very first time we've ever done a book by a presidential candidate. Yes. We love our firsts around here. And starting on Wednesday evenings in August, we'll be looking at the 4 agreements. If you've read, how many of you have read the 4 agreements? How many of you have said to somebody, I would tattoo the 4 agreements on my arm if I could, right? How many of you said that? Then y'all know as well as anybody that you need to read it again. So come out and join us in August. B?
Looking around, I see that I'm with the right people. This must be the right place and the right time. We are talking about freedom. True freedom comes from within. So today I take time to align my body, my mind, and my spirit to the presence and the power that is God. The affirmation: I make a commitment to my own divinity. Together, I make a commitment to my own divinity. Anytime I set out on a journey, it takes time to first prepare myself not only for the intended destination, but for all the possible twists and turns along the way. Doesn't it make sense that as I prepare myself for my divine purpose, I would do the same? I begin by asking 3 simple questions. 1, what would I love? 2, what brings me peace? And 3, how do I express joy? The answers to these 3 questions can assist me in preparations for my own divine journey. These 3 questions keep me centered in the eternal mystery of the divine. And from Romans 12:2, this is from the Message. Don't become so well adjusted to your culture that you fit into it without even thinking. Instead, fix your attention on God the divine. You'll be changed from the inside out. Readily recognize what divinity wants from you and quickly respond to it. Unlike the culture around you, always dragging you down to its level of immaturity, the divine brings the best out of you, develops well-formed maturity in you.
So as we begin to prepare ourselves for a time of silence, we're going to do a reset breath. So we begin that with an exhale. And then as you inhale, just begin to balance the breath that is inside you. I make a commitment. So just check inside your body this morning, and when you hear the word commitment, what comes up? What does it mean to be committed? And knowing today this specific commitment is to yourself. I make a commitment to my own divinity. Which means first I have to recognize my own divinity. So in this now moment, if you haven't already done it, drop 18 inches to your heart space. And just breathe through your heart center. And ask yourself, what would I love? What would I love? What brings me peace? And how do I express joy? Love, peace, joy. I make a commitment to my own divinity in the silence. In the silence. I make a commitment to my own divinity. Focusing on those things that I would love. Focusing on those things that bring and create more peace in my life. And focusing on my own unique expression of joy, love, joy, peace, sailing on a sea of abundance.
Sailing on a sea of abundance, we have all that we're in need of. sea of abundance. We have all that we're in need of. Sailing on a sea of abundance, safe within the harbor of love, God's love. Thank you, God, for everything. Thank you, countless blessings we bring. Thank you for everything. Thank you for everything. Thank you for everything.
We have two special music guests today. Michael Elley is our first.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friends, I'll say it clear and state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. And through it all, I stood tall and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my share, my fill of losing. And now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way.
Now you know when Judy and I were thinking about that song why we asked him to sing it. It's like I could hear his voice singing that song, and I was like, I know he's the one that can deliver that. So before we even get started this morning, I want you to share with someone next to you something that you know that in this lifetime you have done your way, whether anybody else liked it or not. Go. How many of you could relate to what Deb was talking about, that there have been times in your life that you did not allow yourself freedom to be you? Whether it's your parents, your teachers, your job, your whatever it is that says you have to show up and be like this, whatever that is. I was friends with a Unity minister by the name of Mary Omwake, who went into the big church in Kansas City. And I was at a minister's conference, and she and I were the only ones that got up early. About 4:30 or 5 o'clock, we would meet each other out and have a cup of coffee. And she was struggling with something, and I could tell. And I said, Mary, what's wrong? And she said, she showed me this beautiful diamond that she had on her hand that her soon-to-be husband had given her. And she said, my church will not let me wear it on the stage because they think it's too gaudy. My board will not let me wear it on the stage because they think it's too gaudy. And I went, well, I won't tell you exactly what I said. But I was like, that's just obscene. That you won't let her share her joy just because it doesn't fit what you think it's supposed to be. Hence why we're doing this whole series of lessons in July. And if you remember, we started with telling you that there are 4 mind movements and 4 evolutionary steps. I'm using that process because some of you were in the metaphysical Bible class that we took on Wednesday nights. And if you remember, chapter 1 in Genesis is all about the mind movements that had to happen for creation to evolve. It's not about anything actually happening, it's just what had to happen in divine mind for our earth to be created. And then chapter 2 gives you all of the ins and outs of how the world was created. We do the same thing. We just do it so quickly, sometimes we don't pay attention. But I can promise you at some point in time, that chair you're sitting in was in the mind of somebody. Somebody thought about a chair like that, specifically for churches. Because how many of you remember churches used to have hard wooden pews. I was thrilled. There it goes again. You might have to turn something down, or I'll just talk loud, because we think that might be Doug Beal coming back in here going, hello, here we are. Yeah, maybe. But I remember when some of the churches actually began to have cushions in the pews. Wasn't that nice? Because before then, when I was a little girl, it was just hard old pews. And then a lot of churches started pulling pews out and putting in these kinds of chairs. Very interestingly, there are some churches that causes issues with. In fact, I had a congregant leave here because they said, this is just not okay. We need pews. And they sent me an article of pews that I could buy from a church that was getting rid of them, that was wanting to have these kind of chairs. And they said, see, you can buy them right here. And I was like, nah. Because what we do in this room is not just this. We just had a Reiki clinic on Friday night, and if you came, it didn't look anything like this. But isn't it interesting how that we get things in our minds that are ideas, and then we wonder why things are created the way they are? It's because it started right here. Anybody ever had a weird thought? That's not really what yes, Dan, you have had many, I know. Right, Jill? There were a few years that I was on the board with him, and I just remember going, I have no idea what you're talking about. But if you just keep talking, maybe I'll eventually have a clue what you're talking about. Right, Jill? And he would draw me a picture, and then I could figure that out. But think about the things in your life that maybe you have created because you didn't get clear in your mind what you wanted, which is what today's lesson is about. So how do I set clear goals for myself? I don't know how you set clear goals for yourself. And there's a when and there's a ... We're going to go somewhere else with that. But we all have different processes about how we set goals for ourselves. I see Laurie sitting out here. She had a goal of creating a CD, and she's got one now, and her CD party release is going to be here. What's that date, Laurie? August 3rd, right here is her CD release party. But she had to set some goals for herself that I'm sure her husband had to help with also. Because when I set goals for myself, I have to drag Judy along for the ride because that's just part of the deal. That's how we ended up with a boat. That was my. The more you talk about that idea, the more somebody else will come along, right? Is that not how that works? Yes. There's the first part of that. How do I set clear goals for myself when, number one, I'm not sure what my human self is going to experience? Now, I know that a lot of you are versed in the law of attraction, but there is another piece to the law of attraction. I'm not creating in Ryan's world, and when Ryan comes into my world, different things start happening. You ever notice that? You get really, really clear on what you want to create, and then somebody else comes into your world, and then you've got to co-create with that person. Right? Because I thought I had my goal set, and then you came into my life. And now there's this piece. And so I either have to back up and co-create with you, or I have to convince you that we do want a boat. And we want it now and not 5 years from now. Does that make sense? You've gone through those gyrations because some of you are going, And the person sitting beside you is going, yeah. Right, Russ? And what is that second part? I'm not sure what I'm going to experience as a human being. And then there's the place that my divinity has to come out. And so I don't even know what that's going to look like. How many of you have experienced something in your humanness and you forgot that you were divine? Really? Even though we say that over and over and over and over and over and over. I've been saying it for over 20 years. We're divine. But somehow or other, when I get out in the world and I experience my humanness, that's not the first thought that comes to my mind. What is the first thought that comes to our minds when we're experiencing humanness? Holler out some. Survival. Anger. You know, I'm experiencing my humanness right now, and without telling all of my story, I spent Monday a large part of the day with my mother. And some of what we talked about, I'm still processing. We all have places in our body that we process stuff. This is mine. It gets to my power center, which is my throat. Because I didn't say everything I needed to say to my mother. And then when I left, then I said it loudly in the car. And I said it loudly to Judy, who agreed with me. Does that make sense? But I didn't say it where I needed to say it. Anybody else do that? How do you know when you're not sure what your human self is going to experience and you're not sure what expressions of your own divinity will be called for in each moment? Probably the place that is the most difficult for me, and I've shared that with you, is with my mother. Because I never know from time to time what the conversation is going to be. And I try very hard to go in and go, okay, I am divine. I am divine. But there's something about her that can push that button. And I totally forget that I'm divine. All I remember is, you're pissing me off. Right? So, again, how do we set clear goals for ourselves? There's Doug again. So he is agreeing with me. So I'm going to say this out loud, and then you're going to say it with me the second time I say it. You see what it says? I came here to experience humanity and to express divinity. Say that with me. I came here to experience humanity and to express divinity. Talk to the person beside you about what came up when you just said that out loud. So I want you to push the pause button right where you are because you're going to pick up after you see this next little thing. Which is what a lot of us have done. But that's not your reason for being. Your reason for being is not to work hard, to pay taxes, and die. Your reason for being is to experience humanity and to express your divinity. So now finish your conversation with the person. So I'm sure that shifted some of your conversation a little bit. So I want to read one more time the scripture B read this morning. It came from Romans 12, verse 2. You can look it up in any version you want, but I love the Message version because it's very clear. Don't become so well adjusted to your culture that you fit into it without thinking. Would your culture not tell you you came here to work hard, pay taxes, and die? Instead, fix your attention on God, the divine. You'll be changed from the inside out. Readily recognize what divinity wants from you and quickly respond to it. We're going to pick up that in just a minute. Unlike the culture around you, always dragging you down into its level of immaturity. The divine brings the best out of you, develops well-formed maturity in you. So, is that not wonderful? The first mind movement last week was permission. You have to give yourself permission to think differently. When you begin to offer yourself freedom, remember, you're going to try to hold on to some stuff. I use the analogy of a baby cruising. Babies hold on to something till they can grab onto something else, till they can grab onto something else. But eventually they have to let go to walk across the room. Yes, they may fall down. Day after day after day, but no baby goes, well, I'm not ever going to try this anymore. Because y'all all walked. So a baby's going to eventually give itself permission to move beyond whatever this is that they're tethered to. And when you give yourself permission to be free, you allow your divine purpose to come through. So we sang something last week, we're going to sing again. So you're going to have to stand up because you can't sing this sitting down. I promise, it just doesn't come out as well.
All right, let's all just make this up as we go along together, shall we? Ready? What are we doing? Are you playing?
I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. give myself permission to live passionate and free.
So pause right there for a minute because some of you look pained. Passionate and free. Passionate and free. What would it be like if you gave yourself freedom in this moment to be passionate and free? Now, some of you have never done that. I will tell you what I say to children that always laugh: pull the sticks out of your booty and be free. Because some of us are sitting on a post, afraid that if we move, God's going to strike us down. Be free. Let her rip, tater chip.
I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission.
You can at least clap.
To be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free.
So I'm going to give you one more hint, hint. Some of you are holding on to the chair in front of you. I didn't say you have to dance out in the aisles. There's some of you that might, and that's lovely. But those babies that had to learn how to let go, here's a good chance to start that right now. I promise you, you're not going to fall down. Let her rip, tater chip again.
I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free.
Look at John Ricks. Oh, you already jumped down. Get back up there. Show him where you were. John Ricks was standing up on a chair. Woo! Yes. So you've given yourself permission. But I hear this over and over and over. What if I don't know what my divine purpose is? What if I don't know? You do know at the core of your being. And you make it really, really hard. Because you want it to be some big spectacular thing. I want to be the President of the United States. It's not about that. Kenny wants to be that. It's not even about playing the piano or being a musician. That's the vehicle. It's about sharing love, sharing joy, sharing peace in the way that is uniquely you. We get confused about our divine purpose and say, Denise's divine purpose is to be a minister. That's just my vehicle right now. We say our divine purpose is our job or the way we express and when we sing. No. Your divine purpose is about what you would love, what brings more peace, how you express joy. Now, I can promise you she expresses joy through those fingers on that piano. These people up here express joy when they're singing. You express joy somehow, somewhere. Where is it? Again, talk to the person beside you about that for just a second. Do you see how the energy shifted in the room when you started talking about expressing joy? Hint, hint. Why would you talk about something nasty versus expressing joy? Just a hint, hint. Thoughts in mind. We know that in New Thought. So why would I spend 30 minutes of my valuable time talking about something I didn't want? Everybody breathe. What if we had pods of people that were talking about what they would love, what creates more peace, what is their divine expression of joy? Think about how that would shift the planet. Instead of talking about all the things that we think we're going to fix because we think somebody's going to listen to our opinion. And they're probably not. Have you figured that out too? So your conversation with this person that you were talking about expressing joy, I want you to share with them your vision of your life. If you were doing what you love, if you were doing what brings you more peace, if you were being an expression of joy. Go. I am in hopes that you will continue these conversations moving forward. Because in order to carry a positive action, we must develop here a positive vision. You are creating a vision of your life right there with your words, of what you would love, what brings you more peace, how you would be an expression of joy in the world. Do you understand that once that gets seated in your mind, just like the chair was an idea of someone, it will begin to manifest? Over the years, we have done lots of visioning work at this church. And I've had a lot of people push back and go, we need to have all of these goals and objectives, and we need to know who's going to do what, and it'll never happen if we don't do all that. We've done it both ways. And when we did the whole deal with the goals and objectives and had people set to be in charge of certain things, it fell apart. You want to know why? Because the vision hadn't had time to set long enough. How long does it take you to create a movement in your world and to show up differently? How long does it take you when you're collaborating with one other person? How long does it take you when you're collaborating with your whole family? How long does it take you if you're collaborating with everybody in this room? Does that make sense? Some of the things that we as a church visioned about 10 and 12 years ago are now happening. It's just taken that long for it to push out in the universe and the right people to show up to do it. Does that make sense? So we were trained by the world to do it differently. Know that this is all eventually going to be a book that I'm writing, because I feel very passionate about this. The world does it differently because we push our own agendas out there. We push our own ideas out there. We push them out on other people instead of creating a spiritual community to collaborate with. So just let that percolate. Because when you're talking about your own life or in a spiritual community, things that stop me or us from committing to myself is, number one, somebody read that really loudly. I always find a way out. I always find a way out. You ever had a goal for yourself that you went, I'm going to lose such and such weight, but you know that chocolate cake looks really good over here, doesn't it? Or I'm going to do blotty, 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 but there's a back door somewhere. I always find a way out. That's why you find a way out. You know this thing you're holding on to? You think you have to hold on to it and keep doing it to the detriment of whatever this is that you're trying to create out here. Now, I will tell you, because my sweet partner for years said, quit telling people they can quit their jobs. You did not hear me say that. But at some point in time, you have to if it's not your divine purpose. But only you know that. I don't know that. But I do know, in all the 400 million boards that I'm on, there are a few right now that are not bringing me love, nor peace, nor joy. Guess what? That's the way you have to live your life. Is what I'm doing right here what I love? Is it creating more peace? Am I being able to be an expression of joy here? If not, I'm not in the right place with the right people to receive my good. Can you hear that? Again, I did not tell you to go out and change everything you're doing today. Because some of you are still holding on pretty tight. Some of you are going to have to before you can walk across the floor. I know you've seen that quote before. Nikki, read it loudly from your seat.
Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive. And then go do that. Because what the world needs is people who are alive.
What would I love? What brings me peace? How do I enjoy expressing joy? So we had some just a minute ago, but there's one big one I left out. I hear that all the time from people. I don't know how. I don't know how. Talk to somebody beside you about something you have done from the time you were born to right now that you didn't know how to do, but you got through it and survived. Go. Puberty would be one. Childbirth the first time would be one. So a few people holler out some of the things that you didn't know how to do that you learned how to do. Say that louder again. Yes. What else? Being a spouse. Being a spouse, yes. Some of you are trying to make this too hard. Breathe. Moving to Alaska. You all may not know that that dear woman right there, Colleen Barber, just up and moved to Alaska one time just cause. She didn't know how to do that, but she just did. Wow. Play an instrument. Performing in front of people. Cook a meal. Drive a car. Drive a stick shift. I still don't know how. Work projects. Living through a miscarriage. Do you hear the things, even in this room, that we've survived? Living alone. Nobody said raising children. Lord mercy. Lisa, yes. Raising children. Yeah. Building a chicken coop. So what you're really doing is making a commitment to your own divinity every day, all day long. That's the second action step. And you will know where to take the next step when you go, is this what I would love? Is this bringing me more peace? Is this a place that needs my expression of joy? Because I know some of you are like, well, some of the things that I step into aren't always so lovely. Me either. But they need the peace that I bring. They need the expression of joy that I can be in that moment. And I'm the only person that knows that. Nobody else can tell me that. Nobody else can tell you that. Becky Duffield, read that out loud.
To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist. That is all.
Do you understand that the majority of people in the world just survive? They work hard, they pay taxes, and they die. This is something different than that. This is a change in consciousness of knowing that I can create something better and different than that. But it's connecting to my own divinity. So we say this every week right now. I'm wanting you to say it with me. Remember, this is an affirmation that you can paste all over your computer. And now you have visions of what you would love, what brings peace, what is your expression of joy. You have all that to add to this statement every morning. Together, I'm taking this time to create my day, and I'm affecting the quantum field. Living, loving Spirit, show me a sign that you paid attention and bring it to me in such a way that I will be surprised and that I will know that it is from you. Do you understand that what you're affirming is that when I keep focusing on my vision, the next step is going to appear. It's just going to be there. And you're going to know it's it. Because when I tell people that I'm coaching, if you don't know that that's your next step, don't take it. It might take you down the wrong way. Take it when you know it's yours. And you know that it's brought to you by Spirit. Most of you in this room are intuitive enough or empathic enough to feel it and go, oh, that's it. You have to make your own kind of music. And somebody's going to sing that for us this morning.
Hi. You ready for me? Nobody can tell you there's only one song worth singing. They may try and sell you, but it hangs them up to see someone like you. But you've gotta make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along. You're gonna be nowhere, the loneliest kind of lonely. It may be rough going, just to do your thing is the hardest thing to do. But you've gotta make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make nobody else sings along. So if you cannot take my hand, and if you must be going, I will understand. 'Cause you've got to make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along. Make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along, sings along.
And if you can't sing as beautifully as Becky, if it goes awry, just call it jazz. It'll all be fine. We're gonna give Reverend Dee a chance to rest her power center. We've been doing this novena every week. I believe we're doing it for 9 full Sundays because that's what a novena is. 9 times we create this magical field of energy together. So say this with me if you will. I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge thy presence and power, O blessed Spirit. In thy divine wisdom, now erase my mortal limitations, and from thy pure substance of love, bring into manifestation my world according to thy perfect law. I invite the Holy Spirit to take charge of my journey of abundance and prosperity. I let go of all that has gone before and begin anew. I open myself to expressing a brand new magnificence. I open myself to the infinite possibilities that are mine to choose. I open myself to receive the prosperity that is my divine heritage. I invite the Holy Spirit to reveal the things that need to be revealed, heal the things that need to be healed. Fill me now with a mighty faith that empowers me and allows me to commit to be the force for good that I can be. In the name and through the power of all that is holy, we say amen and amen. Please join us on the sacred walk of abundance. Going, I believe.
voices, one spirit, a new day is dawning. Can you feel it? Different choices we make, different roads we may take. We are many voices, one spirit, singing my song until the whole world hears it. Songs of peace and grace, songs of hope and faith, finding our common ground. We'll let the light shine through. We are many voices, one spirit, singing my song until the whole world hears it. Songs of peace and grace, songs of hope and faith, songs of love for all the human race. One spirit.
So we open our hands and our hearts and our minds and we bless these tithes and offerings. We know they have been given from that place of love and that place of peace and that place of expressing joy. And we know that they will move through this ministry and back out into the world to bring love and joy and peace to those that we touch. And so it is. Amen.
I have nothing else to add. Let's say this together, shall It's a good thing that I am divine and know how to properly. Let's say it together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Yeah. Let's go now. Come on. Woo! Hit a plug train. Come on, let's get it.
People all over the world join hands, start a love train, a love train. People all over the world join hands, start a love train, a love train.
Hey, the next stop that we make, it's gonna be Washington. Yeah. And tell all the folks in Syria and Iran too. Yeah. Amen. Please get down in that train and get on board. Okay? 'Cause we gotta keep it riding. Gotta keep it riding on through. Well,
People all over the world join hands, start a love train, a love train.
hey,
People all over the world join hands, start a love train, a love train.
hey, and tell all of the brothers over in Africa, they got the message. Tell all the folks in Guatemala and Russia too. Yes. Hey, please don't miss the train at the station. 'Cause I'm gonna be sorry. I'm gonna be sorry for you. Well.
People all over the world join hands, start a love train, a love train. People all over the world join hands, start a love train, a love train. People all over the world join hands, start a love train, a love train.
Hey now.
People all over the world